Alright guys, welcome back to the channel again. As promised in the last video, said we're going to do a quick breakdown of this reel. I'm going to take it apart. I'm not going to go overboard though. I'm going to open it up. I don't want to get any of the grease dirty or anything like that, otherwise I've got to redo the whole reel basically, so I want to try and avoid that. Okay, where shall we start? Okay, well, it's just a quick thing. You'll see those little screws there. It's not like a Phillips or whatever, it is a Torx screw. Meaning you're going to need to use one of those little guys to open this up. And that is awesome, because you're not going to have a little screwdriver that's going to slip off and damage your reel, scratch it or anything like that. I actually don't know why people don't do it. Well, the companies, there is one or two companies that I've seen that's done it on some of their reels, but very few. It just makes sense, makes life so much easier, way less chance of messing something up as well. So yeah, let's get going on this. Okay guys, don't laugh. Wanneer jy uitraak, raak jy blind. Let's get the spool out. Okay, let's talk about that now. I did already speak about this brake system, so I'm not going to run through that again. Obviously don't want to make this video too long. Okay, so let's start taking off the reel handle. I did already start loosening up. It's actually pretty tight. And again, I've got the same thing going on there, using a little Torx, which is cool, very cool. Okay, it's just a little O-ring underneath it. It doesn't have a lock ring to make sure it doesn't undo itself. Obviously the O-ring creates some friction and that prevents it from undoing itself. Yeah, quite simple but effective. Okay, this is all the basic stuff. I'm just going to take all of this apart. Essentially, when you're doing this, just make sure you basically put it down in order, and so that you can put it back together the same way you actually took it apart. Then you really can't lose anything or really can't mess it up. So let's see if that guy's going to fall out on its own. Nope. Okay. I will be getting the screwdriver set right with these little points on it, because this is not ideal. It works, but it's not ideal. Okay, cool. So far, yeah, all the screws are the exact same length except for the last one. Okay, so the last one that comes at the bottom here, that's a slightly shorter one to the rest. So just got to take note of that, so that you don't put the wrong one in the wrong place. Small things that do matter. Okay, let's see what this little guy looks like on the inside. Again, this is a clean sheet of paper that I put down here, because I don't want it getting dirty. I will run through everything as I've taken it off. And let's see what's what. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of things I like here. Alright guys, I'm going to actually stand up so I can point these things out. Okay, so first off, you'll see there, this little mechanism here, that is your clicker when it's taking line to drag. So essentially you're going to have this on top. Below it is going to be your standard drag washers, and I've already checked there are carbon drag washers, so no need for me to get into that. But yeah, that's basically it. So aluminium main gear, brass pinion gear. That's very nice. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm very excited about. You see on the pinion gear, this section is quite long. Okay, so the reason why that is long is because it will actually sit inside that bearing. Sorry guys, camera just went off for some unknown reason, but anyways, that pinion gear will sit inside that small gear. Doesn't matter where it is, whether it's open or busy or engaged. So what that means is that pinion gear is being supported by this bearing at all times. So the pinion gear will never flex over. The reason why I say that is quite important, because that is stuff you're only going to find, again, I'm going to have to make a comparison to what everybody knows. Let's talk Shimano. You're only going to start finding that from a Corrado upwards kind of level. Below it, that little pinion gear is much shorter. It doesn't have a bearing that it slides into. It relies on the actual spool shaft to keep it aligned. But the problem with that is there's always a bit of play. I mean, it works, 100% fine, it works. But there's a reason why they do it with their more expensive stuff like their Corrado, because your pinion gear is going to last longer, and because everything is aligned at all times, it is going to be smoother. It will stay smooth for a much longer time. So that is super important. Other than that, yeah, everything looks solid. I like the fact that they went with a brass pinion gear and an aluminium main gear. That's super cool. So as we'll see, there's that little piece sticking out here. So that there is just to guide you when you are fitting on the actual cover back on. Pinion gear covered. That's super cool. Your main shaft. So obviously there's going to be a bearing sitting at the bottom and the frame itself supporting it at the bottom. But then also, again, same as some of the other brands will start doing with the higher end stuff, you do have another roller bearing, well, not roller, another ball bearing, seal bearing sitting on the outside here that's going to support the shaft. So your main shaft is also going to be stable from both sides. Again, your anti-reverse bearing, that bearing is not intended to carry load. That is not what they are made for. So a reverse bearing is just there to stop your handle from reversing back. On any reel below a certain level, you don't have that support bearing on the main shaft. Yes, it works fine. It works 100% fine. But again, they do it like this so that things can last a bit longer, so that your reel stays smoother for a much longer period of time. So that was the main reason why I wanted to open this up. I wanted to see how they did this. I mean, I could have checked it out on their diagram, but I want to see for myself how things was done. Did they go and over grease the actual main gear? And the answer would be no. I can see the grease on it, but it's not packed on all over the show. It is the right amount. I mean, I'm quite a stickler with that. I've got a small little brush that I will basically just lightly dab the gear all the way around with grease, but I'll try and push that grease into the crevices so that it doesn't just spread out immediately. So yeah, the reel is greased up really nicely on the inside. They basically did everything the correct way. Everything, everywhere where there's supposed to be a support bearing, they have placed the bearing. There's a lot of other bearings. I mean, your reel handle's got four bearings in it as well. But I'm not too much fussed about reel handles. On your line guide, your pawl, well, the worm gear itself, there's a support bearing on this side and on this side, not bushings, actual bearings. Bushings are fine, they last long, but eventually that bushing if you don't service your reels on a regular basis and muck gets in there, that bushing will start eating away on that actual shaft and there will become play. 100%, I've seen it countless times for servicing reels. Okay guys, so yeah, that's basically the Hundo, the internals. I mean, there's not much more you can see. It's all about the workmanship, the quality of materials that they use, and I mean, everything looks really good. Really, really good. I mean, I've seen some brass where it is so stained on a brand new reel. And you're like, yeah, that grade of brass is really bad. But when it's nice and clean like that, yeah, they are not going to use subpar materials, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be top stuff used. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, let me quickly assemble this, and then I'm going to chat to you guys about the reel servicing and so forth for these reels. The reel is back together again. Everything is sorted. I really like what I see. They fitted bearings where they're supposed to be bearings. Where they're supposed to be support bearings, they put it. That pinion gear is really a big one for me, to have a support bearing on both the left and the right side of the pinion gear. Most reels only have one on the left hand side of it. As I said, from like, if I've got to make a comparison from the Corrado level upwards, you're gonna get double support bearings. Anything below that, unfortunately, it's a no-go. And I'm not picking on Corrado, guys. That goes for Shimano, that goes for Daiwa, for everyone. I mean, I've got Daiwas, I've got Shimanos, I've got 13 Fishing. But yeah, my point being, they did it the right way. They went, they saw, they looked at what works, and that is what they did. And that is awesome. I'm also super happy to see the way they assembled it, where they put the grease, how much grease they put on there. They didn't over grease or like really just jam it in there, because you shouldn't. It's an open gear. The second you do this, it pushes all the excess grease out. Literally one rotation and all the excess grease is pushed out. And if you put too much grease, it's just lying in there. So no need. One important thing though, guys, some of you may know, I actually do reel services from time to time. It is not something that I advertise or anything like that. I do it mainly for the local guys in our league. And then I've done quite a few guys that, from Inanda Bass Club and so forth, their reels as well. So with that being said, I do have my own business, mountain biking and so forth, so I do services there and repairs and shock services and whatever else. So that's why I don't really advertise it, because that is obviously my bread and butter. However, I have agreed, and I'm quite keen on it. I am going to be the official service agent for Bates in South Africa. So if you are going to be sending it to official service agent, it is going to be coming free to myself. And yeah, I'm very excited. I really, really like the way this reel is set up, how they made it, so I can see that I'm going to enjoy myself actually servicing these reels. Believe it or not, I actually enjoy tinkering with things like this. So yeah, that's super cool. So servicing will be done by myself as well as repairs. And as I made a quick mention, we are getting a full set of spares coming in August, September. So you're not going to have a problem of, oh, we don't have, no, we will have spares. If something has to go, we will have spares, but the likelihood of something breaking is not much. Anyways, guys, this is now basically, this is basically it. This weekend I am gonna get an opportunity to fish with this. I am doing the Inanda, Joey's tournament at Inanda. So I'm gonna spool some line on this, get it on one of my Zolos, and yeah, hopefully I catch a few fish on it, and hopefully I'll get it on camera. That's the biggest thing. So there might be a third video with me catching a few fish on this, but it is a comp, and Inanda is tough. So there's no guarantees on it. Hopefully I'll see you soon with another video. But until then, tight lines.